Math Class 31, Tuesday. I can solve multi-step word problems and interpret remainders. Volleyball sign-ups were held over 3 days. Friday, 14 players signed up. Saturday, 11 players signed up. And Sunday, 16 players signed up. If it takes 6 players to make a volleyball team, what's the greatest number of teams that can be made? Well, if on Friday we have 14 players, and on Saturday we have 11 players, and on Sunday we have 16 players, then we can combine the 3 days of sign-ups to determine the total number of volleyball sign-ups. And so we're going to add 14 plus 11 plus 16. And that would be 41. So we have 41 sign-ups. Now, if it takes 6 players to make a team, then we're going to take our 41 sign-ups and divide that into groups of 6 to find out how many teams we can make here. And so 41 divided by 6, well, I know that 6 times 6 is 36, and 7 times 6 is 42. So I know that T is going to be equal to 6 with a remainder of 5. Now, what's important here is that we interpret this remainder. That T equals 6 remainder 5 means that we can make 6 teams and there would be 5 people who signed up left over. Now, keep in mind the question says if it takes 6 players to make a team, what's the greatest number of teams that can be made? So we don't have enough players to make a 7th team. Now those 5 players can still play, but they would be on other teams that already have 6 players. So some teams would have extra players. That's how we interpret the remainder in a situation like this. So we would state that 6 teams can be made. All right, now I can add and subtract multi-digit numbers. Find the sum of 725,731 and 156,345. Again, when we're finding a sum, we are adding our numbers. So I'm going to take my 2 numbers, I'm going to line up my place values so that I can add like units, and I'm going to combine. 5 and 1 is 6 ones, 4 and 3 is 7 tens, 7 and 3 is 10 hundreds. We'll bundle those 10 hundreds and turn it into 1,000. 1, 5, and 6 is 12, and those are all thousands. I'm bundling 10 of those thousands to turn them into a 10,000. 1, 2, and 5 all in the 10,000s is 8 10,000s, and 7 and 1 in the 100,000s represents 800,000s. So the sum, the answer to our addition problem, is 882,076. Find the difference in 487,039 and 347,925. In this case here, difference is my key word again. I'm going to be subtracting. I want to subtract my 2 numbers, lining up the place values so that I can subtract like units. Starting in my ones place here, I will take 5 ones away from the 9 ones that I start with. That leaves me 4 ones. I'll take 2 tens away from the 3 tens that I start with, and I'm left with 1 10. Now I need to take 9 hundreds away from no hundreds that I'm starting with there. So I'm going to go over to the thousands. I'm going to leave 6 thousands there. I'm going to take one of those thousands, unbundle it, and let 10 hundreds fall out. And so now when I take my 10 hundreds and subtract 9 of those hundreds, I'm left with 100. In my thousands place, I need to take 7 thousands away from the 6 thousands that I'm starting with. So I'm going to need to go get some more because I don't have enough thousands. I'm going to leave 7 in the 10,000s column. I'm going to take one of those 10,000s, unbundle it, let 10 fall out with the 6 that's already there, and that's why that becomes 16. So 16 thousands minus 7 thousands is 9 thousands. In my 10,000s place, I start with 7 10,000s and I'm going to subtract 4 10,000s, leaving me 3 10,000s. In my 100,000s place, I start with 4 100,000s and I want to subtract 3 100,000s, which leaves me 1 in the 100,000s place. So the difference, the answer to my subtraction problem here, is 139,114. Compare the fractions using greater than, less than, or equal. Explain your thinking. 12 tenths compared to 34 hundredths. Well, here, for this problem, I can look at those two and say, I know that 12 tenths is more than 1 whole. And I know that 34 hundredths is less than a whole. And so using that benchmark idea, I know that 12 tenths must be more than 34 hundredths. If 12 tenths is more than a whole and 34 hundredths is less than a whole, well then 12 tenths has to be more than the 34 hundredths. On the next page here, backside, it says write the rule and complete the conversion table. The rule for converting meters to centimeters is centi means 100. So we're going to take meters and multiply by 100 to get centimeters. I'm going to note that here in my table, meters times 100 equals centimeters. And now I can use that equation I've just created to fill in the table. 1 meter times 100 equals 100 centimeters. 5 meters times 100 equals 500 centimeters. 8 meters times 100 equals 800 centimeters. 10 meters times 100 is 1,000 centimeters, which is 1,000. And 14 meters times 100 would be 1,400 centimeters. That's 1,400. I can determine the measurement of an unknown angle. Determine the measure of angle ABD. Well, we see that angle ABC is given to us, which is 90 degrees. So this is 90 degrees total here. Now, if CBD is 45 degrees of that, then angle ABD must be the remaining. So if I take the whole angle ABC, which is 90 degrees, I subtract the part that's given to us, angle CBD at 45 degrees, then I can find that I am left with 45 degrees for angle ABD. So I'm going to state here angle ABD is equal to 45 degrees, which I know is an acute angle. It measures less than 90. That's all for today.